Mongoloid. I said, when you get to the white folks, it's Caucasian. And what is this? These Caucasians supposed to be superior to us? Because us people of color over here, we the Noids. You know what I mean? The Negroids, the Africanoids, the Mongoloids, and y'all the Caucasian. What are you trying to say, Mr. Seale? I say, from now on, Africanoid, Mongoloid, and Caucasoid, so we can have some equal terminology. These were the early days of development in one's thinking, one's evolving, one's research. To research and know your African and African-American people's history of struggle backwards, forwards, sideways, and catacorners. To research the history of the colonialism of Africa and all the ethnic groups that spawned and evolved. This was something else for me. It gave me this world view, another kind of thing. Malcolm X is killed. I'm upset. I have a one-man riot. Me, I'm the only person rioting on the streets. People saying, what's wrong with that dude? And I got crocodile tears. They killed Malcolm X, man. What's wrong with you, man? Anyway, I got myself together. I broke a couple of windows and kicked a couple of... I kicked the bottom portion of a pane glass door with my boot. Now, believe it or not, the very window I kicked out, that was 1965. When I got the first Black Panther Party office in January 1967, it was that same place I kicked the boot. It really was. It blew my mind. Anyway, Huey helped me win that day in that anthropology class. And I went and bought Huey a lunch. And we got to know each other. But later on, I was looking for Huey when Malcolm X was killed. And I couldn't find him. I only seen Huey around campus, Merritt College campus. And I lived across the street from Merritt College campus. I didn't know where Huey lived. So Richard Aoki, a Japanese buddy of ours, mostly Huey's, finally let me know where he lived. And I told Huey he and I need to get together and start a new organization. They killed Malcolm X. Nelson Mandela is still in prison. What are we going to... So that's what happened. It took a year and a half for this to get this new organization going. A year and a half. I mean, remember, I had other organizational groups, Soul Students Advisory Council, I created that. The Black History Fact Group at Merritt College, I created that. Me and my students and the others, 9 or 10, 14 students really was totally involved. We wrote 4 different syllabus for 4 different courses. 2 courses in African Studies and 2 courses in Black American Studies for Merritt College, you know what I mean? And got it into curriculum with a big argument with Dean Olson and others, but we got it because we threatened to boycott in. I said, we're going to slide in, we're going to wade in, we're going to jump in, we're going to scream in, we're going to do everything. And if you don't do something about putting some African and Black history in the curriculum here. And those are the days preceding the Black Panther Party. And then finally there was Uncle Sammy Called Me Full of Lucifer, a poem I recited that caused a fight up around University of California at nighttime in the business district near University of California. Uncle Sammy Called Me Full of Lucifer. Well, I don't give a good eagle-eyed, McPleagle triple whammy damn for I, Phyllis Foster, will not serve. Uncle Sammy don't shuck and jive me. I'm hip to popcorn jazz changes you blow. You know damn well what I mean. You school my naive heart to sing red, white, and blue stars and striped songs and to pledge eternal allegiance to all things blue, true, blue-eyed, blonde hair, white chalk, white skin with USA tattooed all over. When my soul trusted Uncle Sammy and loved Uncle Sammy, I died in dreams playing war for you, Uncle Sammy. You jam your emasculate manhood symbol puffed with gonorrhea. Gonorrhea of corrupt, unrealty missing to my ungreased nigger ghetto black ass of my Jewish, Catholic, Hindu, Islamic Sioux. What sure free public health penicillin cured me. But Uncle Sammy, if you want to stay a freak show strong man God, screw yourself. I will not serve. That poem was written by a young man named Ronald Stone. I picked that poem up out of the Liberator magazine. The Liberator magazine in those days was published out of New York. And I had a subscription to that particular magazine. In fact, I had a subscription to about 25, 26 different periodicals of one kind or another in those days. But That poem was centered around me organizing an anti-war rally or anti-draft rally against the war in Vietnam. See, we were reading in the newspapers that 29% of all the people dying on the front lines in the Vietnam War back in those days were African Americans, plus some Asian Americans, plus, some other peoples of color. 29% was African Americans. And how we were incensed in those days, in that period, in 1966, because remember, I've been studying and researching my history now since 1962. It is now 1966, spring. And I organized that rally. We packed that high school auditorium, just like this here. We packed it, standing room only. That's why I recited that poem first. Then I recited it at night. And we got in a fight with the Berkeley police, me and Huey, because one of the words was a cuss word. You're using obscene language. I said, man, we learned the right to say the F word, man. What's wrong with you? I mean, the Supreme Court says it's called freedom of expression and we can do that, blah, 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 later for you. I didn't know he was a cop in his little civilian clothes and he didn't show no badge. I said, get your hand off of me, man. And we're in a crowd of people who just listened to this poem, you know what I mean? And Huey says, leave him alone, he's done nothing. And the uniform kind of got involved. Next thing you know, I'm tackled and boom, 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 and we're rolling in the dirt, and I'm getting 3 or 4 undercovers got a hold of me. They kicking my butt. I mean, they beat me up. And finally, some of the other brothers, 2 white guys and an Asian guy, kicked these undercovers off of me. And I got up, all dazed and beat up. So I had this little scout knife in my pocket. In fact, in all of my toolboxes, my carpentry toolbox, my machinist toolbox, you know what I mean, my sheet metal structural repair, I have the scout knife in each one of them. And I had a lot of them around, so sometimes I have them in my pocket. Some guy wrote in a book one day, Bobby Seale had his stiletto knife and cut this police officer. It was a scout knife, like it's 2.5 or 2 3/4 inches, so it's under 3 inches. It's not illegal. Then the next thing you pull up is a corkscrew. Next thing you pull up is a can opener. That kind of knife. I had them in my toolbox, and I happened to have one with me. When I got loose, man, the yellow T-shirt, the guy who was an undercover cop who had never shown his badge, I cut him. And Hewitt fought the other police officer, the uniform officer. There was a big crowd of people. Leave him alone, he's done nothing. Leave him alone. Big protest, man. He got arrested. We went to jail. Go to jail. Do not pass go. I don't want to hear that. But my constitution rights, we don't want to hear that, baby. You ain't got no constitution rights. Get your black ass in this jail up in here. So we got bailed out, wound up in court in front of Judge Stats, October 10th. Judge Stats, we did a no contest plea in front of the judge, no jury. And so he says, anything before sentencing? I says, Your Honor, I work with the Department of Human Resources, City Government, Oakland. I work with the North Oakland Neighborhood Service Center. I run the youth jobs programs. I said, I have 100 youth. I says, Huey Newton here, he's 6 years younger than me. I says, but since I'm in charge of the youth who work at that place, I got him a job there. And I says, and he's in law school right now. He's been in law school for the last 2 years, Your Honor. I says, now all I did was recite a poem that had a cuss word in it. Some guy, he lied on the stand. He never identified himself to me. And he started grabbing my arm saying I'm using obscene language. I says, and it really wasn't no violation because the Constitution and the Supreme Court of ruled we have a right to say this F word. So I just don't think it's fair that we would be sentenced to any jail. Huey Newton has already articulated to me in research that we could get as much as 1 to 10 years in jail. Him get 1 to 10 years and I get 1 to 10 years, and I just think it's unfair. We gainfully employed, and it's just not right. Thank you, Your Honor. He gave us probation. Whew, I was so glad, because you would always say, he said, we getting ready to go to prison. I didn't want to go to prison. I wanted to organize in the community. And he gave us 1 year probation. Man, when we got downstairs on the steps of the Alameda County Court, I said, Huey, meet me at the Warm Poverty office tonight.